Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Studs Up podcast. My name is Ryan.
Garrett Love is here still.
And Muhammad Hadzik's back from the dead.
Back from potatoes on his feet in the Bosnian jungle. I must say Colombian jungle.
First of all, we
Same
don't
thing.
have jungles. We have forests. And,
Forests.
And
Apologies.
those sock potatoes, guys, miracles.
Mohammed, you did have a giant bout of the man flu.
It started off as the man flu. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It started off as a man cold.
Yep.
My wife documented it. She took my temperature. It's a 98.8, which means that's officially a man cold. I was getting there.
Or a man hot, am I right?
Men's never hot.
Hey-o!
But that's eventually it started getting kind of a little bit more serious. I hit a 99, and then
Ooh.
then a hundo, and then I got officially the man flu.
What is that? Is there an official? What's the official temp for a man flu?
69.
Oh, you're dead.
Terrible. Are we 12?
Penis.
All right.
But then I hit a hundo. Went to my ENT because I have that because I'm that white.
Hashtag stop white people 2K18.
I have an actual ENT that I go to instead of just a doctor.
Is he
Is
Bosnian?
this an what? Are you saying ENT?
Yeah, ears,
nose,
nose,
what are you
throat,
saying?
you horse.
Oh,
Do they not have those back in the motherland, Ryan?
I don't think so. We just have a guy that we go to.
It's all six and sevens.
Whether or not he's a doctor or not is dependent. You know,
Irrelevant.
he just prescribes you,
Irrelevant.
and then you go and pick it up, and then it's free.
I mean, that's
So
pretty
who's
much-
getting the better deal here? And I'm still alive.
Right, hey, congrats, you made it.
All right. So you hit the man flu. You're a hundo. You saw your ENT, not your emergency medical technician, but your ears, nose, and throat.
Yeah, and then he said, "Bud, you got it. You got the man flu."
Yeah.
But no, I had a virus that apparently everyone gets this time of year. Through
Exceptionally.
like, that's really fucked up, Garrett, because I was about to say children.
What was it, like foot and mouth disease or some shit like that?
He told me it's when all these kids start coming on over.
Wait, what?
What?
Could do what?
What are they doing?
Come to school and shit.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, so you picked it up from
Yeah, I picked it up. I picked
your
it up
wife,
from children at schools because I do that a lot.
Well, I was going to go the more innocent route because your wife is a teacher and works with kids, but whatever
Yeah,
you want.
No, that's what I was
That's
saying.
exactly the case that I tell people. That's pretty much what happened. Got a pretty bad virus. Then a lot of people I know were getting it too because they're people either they have children that just started going to school, or they have someone that's in the public service works.
Yeah.
So that's how I caught it. I was out for about 4 days. I couldn't eat or drink or swallow.
Hold on. Great.
Ooh.
I finished that up. I felt a lot better. Did my antibiotics and shit like that. But now I'm all Gucci, ready to go.
Taters
That's
with
great. Garrett, you've been engaged for
I have.
a week.
Has she left you yet?
Are you still engaged?
Still engaged. We actually got
Excellent.
a lot figured out this week. So we got our venue booked August 10th, 2019, baby. Garrett Love is Garrett Metz. Just kidding.
Well, easy.
No, but we're getting married August 10th, 2019, and then we also got our.
Why don't you give all our listeners the fucking address while you're at it?
You want to?
No.
Hey, email in if you guys want to come. I'll save you a spot.
His social is 543-589-4673. I guarantee.
give you my
It would be
driver's
really
license
ironic if someone's listening and they're like, "That's my fucking social security number, man."
I've stolen every listener's identities since we've been doing this. But so
All 8.
all
eight of them.
mine, yeah. Yeah, so we got our venue and then we got our photographer figured out. So we're sitting pretty after a week. So I hope we can
Great.
just kind of relax now because thinking about all this wedding stuff 24/7 is a bit stressful.
My friend, this is the easiest part that you just decided. That's the
What else is
easiest.
Wait
there?
until
What is
August
there?
Wait
8th,
until she-
2019.
Fuck. Just wait until she goes through the thing of what flowers she
That's when I
wants.
say, hey,
Does she
go
want
pick them.
these or these?
No,
Honey, do you
no.
want these or these? And
No.
you're gonna sit there and be
You
like,
don't say.
those, and it's gonna be the wrong one.
You don't say to go pick them because you're gonna sit there in the shitty little interview that you have to do with a person that's gonna pick your flowers at Bachman's or whatever it is. You're gonna sit in this little room office while she says, "Well, it's a fall wedding, so you're definitely gonna want some burnt orange in there," and you're gonna be like, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?"
No, see, that's where you're wrong. I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to pick out pine trees as our flowers. And then she's going to be like, all right, this kid fucking sucks. I don't know why I'm marrying him. I'm going to pick out the flowers. And then I go home and get
Send him
hammered.
home.
That's how it
That's
works.
not how it works.
That's how Garrett Love does it. I'll teach you guys the American way eventually.
And okay. So that
Yeah,
was what you
busy
did
week.
in the
We did a busy week.
in the week during when there was no Premier League
That was
football.
probably
Probably the
the
best
worst
week
week
to
of
do
my
that, to be
life.
honest, because then you wouldn't have your future wife on your back saying that you were watching City instead of helping her out with venues and flowers and photographers.
Yeah.
I
She actually picked it without me even being there.
Oh,
She's
that's-
like, yeah, she goes, hey, I really like this place. And I was like, if you really like it that much, go ahead and book it. So she did.
perfect.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I did my first ever spin class today,
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
and my
It's
My-
Muhammad. That's where you just spin in circles for an hour.
yeah, I'm really dizzy. I'm still dizzy. My thighs are on fire. And it was 60 minutes, and for some reason in my head I thought it was going to be 45 minutes. So when 45 minutes came, I was ready to leave, and then she's like, "We got 15 minutes left," and I'm like, "No!"
Son of a bitch.
But I lasted
Was it?
the whole
Alright,
time.
I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Were you the only guy in there?
No, there was 3 gentlemen
Okay.
present.
Okay.
I looked down at the end of the hour, and the floor was almost a puddle. And everybody else was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna head home." And I stood off the bike and I wobbled a little bit, but kept my cool. Walked out to the car, sat down,
Like a
and
man.
closed the door and screamed for
Pissed
30
drunk.
seconds, and then drove home.
He proceeded to cry.
Yep. But it was good. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna see how it
Nice.
goes. And then
Nice.
when I show up at your wedding, I'm
You're gonna be Jack
gonna be
biker guy, Ryan.
gonna be so ripped. I might actually bring a spinning bike to the wedding, and we
You
can do,
should.
and I can instruct a class while the festivities are going on.
mid ceremony.
Mid ceremony.
You should just ride your bike down from Minnesota. That's how fit you are.
Literally after one class, I probably could do it.
I don't doubt it one bit.
There's
That's how much I believe in you.
I honestly, when I drove down last time, I don't remember that many hills. So fuck it, let's
know.
just do it,
No, it's all downhill. 100% of the way.
and then I'll just fly home.
Yeah.
All right, so since there was no Premier League soccer this weekend, and we all had to endure the start of the NFL season and its many enjoyable moments, and then also international soccer and having to watch Luke Shaw bounce his forehead off the field, which was great. So we decided to do something a little different for this week's episode, considering there was no Premier League soccer. We've decided to do a Soccer Hall of Fame episode. It's going to be mostly surrounding the Premier League, since that is what the podcast is about anyway. But we're going to go ahead and nominate 2 players each, talk about why we think those players should go into the Soccer Hall of Fame, eventually take a vote at the end of the episode, and then we will turn it into a weekly segment where we have the listeners email us or comment on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram who you think should go into the Soccer Hall of Fame this week. We will debate it in the episode and then vote. So, Garrett, I want you to go first. Who is your first inductee into the Soccer Hall of Fame?
Soccer Hall of Fame. It's a big award. My first vote, I think a lot of people will agree with me because he is the greatest footballer of all time to a certain region. And that pick is Landon Donovan.
Landon Donovan. Right. Okay. So coming out of the gate,
that's a joke.
very very
That is-
strong.
That is a joke. I love Landon Donovan only because of the 2010 World Cup. Other than that, he played at Everton for a while. And
Can you imagine?
LA Galaxy.
Can you imagine if they did do a soccer Hall of Fame and the first inductee was Landon Donovan?
Oh, if they did it would have to be a U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. Of course, he'd be in it.
I
but
think
anywhere
Oh,
else,
I
think
just mean worldwide,
he
and-
would be everyone's favorite top.
See,
I mean-
okay, I don't think it's as much of a joke as people are making it out to be. To be honest,
No, I mean he's a good player, and he was like
253 appearances during his first 9 years at LA Galaxy. Then he went back and he only made 6 appearances there. But 157 appearances for the
National team.
United States national team, 113
Yeah.
goals for LA Galaxy, 114, sorry, total. 57
he's a
for the
legend.
United States. He is a legend.
He's a legend in the States for sure. I don't
Yeah.
know if other people feel the same way.
No, he's
Yeah.
a legend. Period. In the world, he
Really?
has to be. You have any player, doesn't matter. If a player played for Chad and he had 100 and some odd appearances,
this Chad?
he's a real dick.
Oh,
Just imagine. Hey, Brock, what kind of IPAs do you drink? Bro?
Why did, out of all of the countries you could have chosen, you chose Chad?
yeah. Why Chad?
Because I saw a flag. I saw the flag of Chad yesterday.
Fair enough.
Just thought of it.
Oh,
All right.
sweet. What does their flag look like? Just the fucking
Oh,
hang
yeah,
loose,
It's
bro.
a blonde guy with just massive shoulders.
Sign? All right. So me.
It's just like a Brooks Brothers tee.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a
Anywho.
bucket of beers. All right.
So my first real pick.
Well,
That
shall we
wasn't a
take a
real
vote?
That's such a real-
Regardless, let's move. Let's
I
move
mean,
as we
okay,
go
do you guys
forward.
wanna
Honestly,
vote?
if,
Do you guys
yeah,
wanna vote?
I would like to vote on Landon Donovan. I know this is quick. I'm sure that
Okay.
the discussion will probably be a little bit more on the other players. But if I was going to vote for Landon Donovan to be in the Soccer Hall of Fame, he wouldn't be the first inductee, but I would definitely vote yes to put him in.
Mhm.
Okay. Mohammed, you agree?
100%.
All
Okay.
right, Landon Donovan,
Landon's
and,
in.
and let's make a. I'm going to make a spreadsheet in our little docs thing online, but we'll put Landon Donovan as the first inductee to the Studs Up Podcast Soccer Hall of Fame. That is something I thought I would never say.
Landon, text me. You're welcome.
Yeah,
And just to
it's
clarify,
pretty prestigious deal for Landon, I would say.
Right.
just
yeah,
to clarify, just so everyone also listening knows, we're definitely not the first people that we're going to choose from. We're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, Messi and Ronaldo," duh, because
Right.
that's a given. It's more players that are not Messi and Ronaldo.
And I do think it should be
Everyone
maybe
fucked up.
we should maybe clarify that the players that we choose shouldn't be playing anymore or are no longer in the Premier League.
Okay.
So let's
That's
do
fair.
that.
I agree.
Okay, thanks. Mohammed, you have the second pick. So, second pick into the Studs Up Soccer Hall of Fame. What do you think?
Picking this player, I think he's one of the greatest fullbacks in English history, and it's not.
Well, I said no. I said they're not allowed to play in the Premier League anymore. If you're gonna say Luke Shaw, we have to wait a few years.
Oh, I was
like
I
1
was
year.
gonna say I was gonna say Josh McEachran's cousin, but all right.
Billy McEachran.
No, actually, his little brother, Josh's little brother, plays for Chelsea Youth, and he has a potential overall of like 86 on FIFA career. Just FYI for all you
Bobby McEachran.
Bobby.
Very sorry to cut you off.
My man started his career off in West Ham. I'm gonna try to have you guys guess. This will be fun. My man started his career off at West Ham at the youth side.
Joe Cole.
Can I fucking finish? moved
Wow, that was quick.
moved on his way to Chelsea Football Club. Had a little spell at Portsmouth. Went on to the Liverpudlians, which is the Liverpool side. So Liverpool.
Scousers.
Didn't know that. That's it's new information.
And finalized his career in Stoke City. I'm talking about Glenn Johnson.
Glenn Johnson.
Yeah.
The legend.
You agree?
Well, talk to me about why he should be in.
He played for Chelsea Football Club during 2003 to 2007. I feel that the only player that is a better left back or right back is obviously Ashley Cole, because he's the greatest English left back, right back of all time, and if not the greatest, one of the greatest ever lived, period, in the sport. I've always been a huge fan of his, and that's not obviously I'm just saying like, oh, I love the guy, so he deserves it. But I think he's been a Premier League legend. He's a Premier League legend. I feel like he's an English legend as well. And he's on, in my opinion, he's on the list of some of the greatest fullbacks in history. And I think that instead of me starting off and picking, the Ashley Coles and the Philip Lahms, I wanted to start off with a few players that aren't the obvious contenders for Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Ryan, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So for the players that we can select, you said you don't want them to be playing in the Premier League right now. What if they're still playing in a good league, it's just not the Premier League?
Yeah, that's kind of why I said that.
Okay.
Is like they can be in the MLS or Spain or whatever.
Okay.
Ryan, do you,
I kind of thought Muhammad was going to go Edin Dzeko just for a countryman.
Yeah,
Ryan, what do you think about Glenn Johnson?
So Glenn Johnson, he is objectively not England's best right back.
Obviously.
Ashley Cole isn't England's best right back. Ashley Cole is England's best left back.
That's that. I said left. I just said full back.
Well, you said yeah. Okay.
So you can go fuck yourself.
I think England have had several better right backs, specifically Gary Neville to begin with. Glenn Johnson, did he win the Premier League with Chelsea?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, in what year?
04, 05, 05, 06. Back-to-backs.
Okay. So, fair enough. I can give him the 2 Premier League medals. But I don't think he's ever really done anything with England. He played for England at the time that England were terrible.
Yeah.
And always were.
He has a good run of championships. I mean, 2 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, a League Cup, several Community Shields. That's just for Chelsea alone.
Yeah.
What else does the Wikipedia page say?
First of all, I'm not on Wikipedia.
He's on Yahoo.
I'm on
Google
Wikipedia
Answer.
Touch Kebab.
Honestly,
which is the boss.
I like the thought of going for somebody more obscure. But if I was going to vote, I would have to say no on Glenn Johnson. And I'm sorry about that.
Can you name 3 better fullbacks for England?
Well,
Obviously.
Gary Neville.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary Neville. Fuck.
There's 1. Am I allowed to say Ashley Cole? Because there's 2.
Well, obviously. It's okay. Go ahead. Ryan, it's your turn to pick one.
Garrett didn't vote.
Glenn,
Yeah.
he's a good lad. Always tried his best.
He deserves a participation award.
Yeah, always did what he could. Good lad, that lad.
Just say yes or no, Gary.
But if I were going to select, I would say no.
Really? I've always been a gigantic fan of him. I think you'll
sorry.
all agree on my second. I think everyone will. It's like one of those. Like I said before, I'm not going to sit here and like pick Philip Lahm and Ashley Cole and even Frank Lampard like right now. Later down the line, I absolutely will. This I just want to pick those players that are absolutely legendary that just aren't the obvious choices right away. Those players when you say their name, you're like, oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess Glenn Johnson isn't one of those fuckers.
Okay, so it's my turn. I'm going a little bit obvious with this one because even though Mohammed said he wasn't going to, I've had this name in my head ever since we thought of the segment. Okay? So my player also started at West Ham and then went to Chelsea
I know who it is.
and then went to Manchester City
I know who it is. And he scored
and
against
then
Chelsea.
yes, and and then went to New York City.
He's managing Derby County.
Yeah,
now,
he is. His name is Frank Lampard. OBE.
Can I go first?
Absolutely, because I know you have strong feelings for this man.
I would say that when I was younger, when he was still scoring 15, 20 goals a season, I feel like he was a part of me. He's hands down my favorite Chelsea player of all time. He's my favorite player of all time. He is the greatest goal-scoring midfielder in the Premier League, history of the Premier League, history of England, period. And one of the best I ever lived. He was unbelievable at everything he does, and he's doing a pretty decent job right now after his first, not after his first and during his first season.
Yeah, last 4 games: Derby County 2, Ipswich Town 0, 2-0 against Preston, 4-0 against Hull, and then 2-1 against Hull again the following week. They play Rotherham this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm really,
they're doing very well.
I'm really excited to see where he takes them. I would love to see him in the Premier League. I would love to see the standing ovation he will get when he comes to Chelsea if they ever get promoted. He comes to Chelsea and you see Super Frankie Lampard banner in Stamford Bridge, and Frankie Lampard's coaching for the opposite team.
And then he substitutes himself on, scores a hat trick.
He doesn't celebrate.
Derby County win the game 3-2. He tears off his shirt to reveal a Derby County ram tattooed on his chest.
And a Manchester City Plastics tattoo in the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically has to happen at this point.
He's an amazing player, and I have I think anyone that knows anything about football is going to say that he deserves that.
Yeah, I mean, in 6 years, he had 148 appearances for West Ham. And then in 13 years at Chelsea, he had 429. Overall, his entire career, he made almost 650 appearances over the course of 5 clubs. Scored almost 200 goals, made more than 100 appearances for England. The guy is a absolute unit of a legend. Any poll in sports, if you just want to talk about sportsmen, Frank Lampard has to be in the discussion.
Absolutely. Primarily a huge soccer family, and they produce one of the greatest players of all time.
And that is why you are voting no.
Plot twist. Yeah, no, absolutely, yes, for sure, 100%.
Great. Garrett, what do you think? Give me your thoughts on Frank Lampard.
So, I'm a big Frank Lampard fan too. City boy, so he can't get any better. He trained his whole career at Chelsea to prepare himself to play at City. That was just a stepping stone to his real career plans, which was obviously Manchester City. But he did fantastically well. I think he only played a season for us. And then, scored the screamer against Chelsea to seal the deal, prove he's a true sky blue,
quality.
Not royal blue.
That was really good.
He's a good lad, that one.
I'm thoroughly impressed by that.
So far up your own ass right now.
No, but yes, I would vote Frank Lampard in. He's amazing.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So the second player to go into the Studs Up Hall of Fame, could have been 3, but the second player is Frank Lampard. We've got 2 midfielders at the moment. Or would you class Landon Donovan as a striker? I'd say attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I would say attacking midfielder striker.
All right. Well, we're padding out the team quite well. We've got 2 power positions done. Garrett, your second player.
My second player he's a good boy.
It's Garrett's dog.
All right, so we're talking about Adam Johnson earlier, and now you're bringing up good boys, and I don't know where this is going.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to pick only City players, and I don't want to pick only Americans, because there's a handful of Americans Like, I think Tim Howard could be in the discussion for a great goalkeeper. He was good for Everton. My selection for goalkeeper is a Manchester United legend, actually, and it's Peter Schmeichel. He's like one of the best goalkeepers that the league has seen. He killed it for United whenever he was there. Won the Champions League with you guys, right?
Yep, in '99.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So he did it all with you guys, and that's what it takes to be a legend. Champions League. If you're a Champions League winner in the Premier League, you're probably already pretty damn near a legend. So
yeah, I mean, anybody can go on YouTube and type in Peter Schmeichel highlights, and
right, and they're ridiculous.
The 10, 15-minute long video of him just making saves that shouldn't be physically possible to make, and almost 300 appearances for Manchester United doesn't happen at that big of a club for somebody that's just a passing
Average
player.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I completely agree. He won the Premier League, he won the Champions League, he's won the FA Cup. He has a son who has won the Premier League. I don't think there's many people that can say that him and their son have won the trophy. That might actually be the only father-son Premier League
Duo.
winners.
Yeah.
That was actually going to be mine.
But I think, honestly, and he had a great career as well. Aston Villa and Manchester City,
Right.
continuing on.
My second pick is an Italian lad. He is a striker, and I hope you boys will be able to guess him. He started his career off with a few different youth teams, went on to be, if not the greatest striker Juventus has ever seen, their capitano. Any ideas?
Is it Alessandro Del Piero?
Absolutely.
Yay!
He's a good boy, that boy.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
I mean, to go from Glenn Johnson to Del Piero, that's a big jump. But
I'm glad he figured out the game finally.
yeah,
I thought Glenn Johnson would be there, but whatever.
Del Piero is, what can you say?
Right.
Other than, I mean, he's a World Cup winner.
It's pretty as all hell.
I mean, yeah, he's a great looking fella.
Shags like a wildebeest.
That's
Yeah, he and was loyal to a club for so long,
And
for almost 20
only
years was
one
at
wife.
Juventus.
The whole time.
Impossible.
Yeah, Garrett, you're about to learn that.
Unheard of.
Yeah. So he's currently doing the commentary, well, punditry for Sky Sports Italia. So he's still within the game, obviously. He won 6 Serie A titles, Coppa Italia, everything that you could possibly want to win, the Champions League, the UEFA Super Cup, the Intercontinental Cup. He did everything that he could possibly have wanted to do in his career and more. Played for every level of the Italian national team. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Long time ago, actually, guys, if you guys didn't know, the reason why I picked Del Piero is because, first of all, he was one of my favorite players of all time, because prior to my allegiance with Chelsea Football Club, when I first started hearing and watching soccer, I was, for about 2.5 days, a Juventus fan. One of my cousins let me borrow his Pro Evolution Soccer, and I played with Juventus, and I loved the guy, and I was a Juventus fan for a few days.
Nice.
So I have a real deep connection with him. I feel like he's just one of the players where you think about some of the greatest strikers of all time, and Del Piero his name has to be on there.
Yeah, it's another one. It's like Schmeichel. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really need to talk.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
No argument here.
Yeah. So, okay. Alessandro Del Piero.
I'm just
joined-
kidding. It's Glenn Johnson.
Again.
Oh, he screwed us.
Come on, Seattle!
I meant to click a different one, but it's still good.
Fight.
It's still great. Alessandro Del Piero joins Peter Schmeichel, Frank Lampard, and Landon Donovan in the Studs Up Soccer Hall of Fame. Okay, initially, I was going to pick somebody so obvious that it wouldn't be hard to...
Describe him.
This player plays in the position that we haven't filled yet in our team.
Jeez.
I suppose it's not a team, but we don't have one of these players yet. We don't have a position.
Defender.
He's a defender. Played more than 200 times for Manchester United. And he also played for Inter and Spartak Moscow. That is Nemanja Vidic. Underrated, I think, as a player. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of people talk about Nemanja Vidic like he wasn't one of the best Premier League defenders of all time. He is up there.
What year did he come to United?
He was at United. He actually came in the January transfer window of 2006.
Oh, six.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of Manchester United's only January transfers that actually performed well. I think he signed at the same time as Patrice Evra as well. Here's some
really?
fun facts. He is in the same vein as the John Terrys
In what aspect?
in how good they were when
yeah,
they
I
played
agree.
in the Premier League. The Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira's, John Terry's, the Glenn Johnsons, the Nemanja Vidic's.
Can
They're
you
up there.
please, for the thumbnail of this podcast, can you just have the ugliest picture of Glenn Johnson you could find?
He won the Champions League while he was with Manchester
did.
United in 2008. He got to a few finals of the Champions League and until Barcelona and Lionel Messi just completely destroyed my hopes and dreams and a lot of crying to sleep during that time of my life. But anyway,
You don't do that anymore?
it's been a couple weeks. I'm on a good run at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a few hours since I've had a good cry.
It's those flowers.
Yeah.
Talk to me. He's Serbian, so you've got a natural enemy there, Mohammed.
Yeah.
So I understand why you're being quite
I only
quiet.
have one frame of reference.
You're literally making a political rift that's really uncalled for. But no, I was always a gigantic fan of his. I always felt that he was one of the most underrated players that I could even think of. Because you hit the nail on the head where you said he's on the line of the Glenn Johnsons, of the John Terrys,
The Adam Johnsons.
when it comes to William Gallas's. But I do think that he's severely underrated, one of the greatest defenders of all time. And just never, he never got the credit. Just like I think nowadays, maybe 5-6 years ago, people would always say Peter Schmeichel. But it's one of those cases where he's kind of faded into the legends list. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think within the Manchester United circle and anybody that really watched soccer and the Premier League around the time, he is held in high regard. But he is, I agree, yeah, he's one of those players that has faded in people's memories over time, that if you asked somebody to make a Premier League all-time 11, he might get skipped over just because he has been forgotten about. Whereas if you look at the partnership that he had with Rio Ferdinand for so many years, Manchester United have never been the same since they left. And it goes to show how good they were together. And individually, the only team and player he couldn't play against was Fernando Torres, who destroyed him on so many occasions. So, but if we take that out of the argument, I think Vidic has to be, if we're just doing Premier League, Vidic has to be either starting in that lineup or on the bench.
Who would you put him next to?
John Terry.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
I vote.
Garrett,
I vote yes.
You're awful quiet.
I vote yes.
Okay, so Vidic, he was still around when I started watching the Premier League, because I am one who will admit that I didn't start watching it until a couple of years ago. Fuck off. And anyway, so I would vote him in way more before I voted in Glenn Johnson. That was just a stupid pick.
So at the end of this special episode of the podcast, we have got Landon Donovan, Frank Lampard, Peter Schmeichel, Del Piero, and Nemanja Vidic in our Studs Up Soccer Hall of Fame. We'll be adding to this Hall of Fame every week, or decline one listener-submitted player. try, and if you're listening and you want to email in, the email address is studsupsoccershow@gmail.com. Go down the Mohammed route if you're going to email in. Don't say anybody that is Cristiano Ronaldo or Wayne Rooney or any other Manchester United player in the 10 years that they dominated. Because they're too
Glenn Johnson.
Oh, Glenn. Well, I mean, now I think we're going to get about 10 emails that say Glenn Johnson. we might have to put him in just
in the honorary section,
just to please everybody. Yeah. What's the one in the Oscars where is it in memoriam where they've died and they just show the picture? Let's do that. Glenn Johnson's not dead, but we'll put him in the dead category. Sorry, Glenn.
Yeah.
Now he's going to fucking die tomorrow now, probably. So email us at studsupsoccershow@gmail.com with your picks, obscure or not. We will talk about them on the podcast.
This weekend, we got Spurs taking on Liverpool, though. Hopefully Spurs can knock Liverpool down a peg or two.
Big game.
Chelsea takes on it'll be a great game. Chelsea takes on Cardiff. Should be a walk in the park. City's got Fulham, Arsenal, Newcastle, and United Watford. Is United going to lose their third game of the season?
I mean, if you were to ask me that question and I could only answer with one of the drops from our soundboard, I would say...
Oh, yeah!
All right, that's the end of the episode. See you next week. Bye.